Welcome to Good Earners, reviewing The Sopranos. If you're new here, welcome to this crazy show that we put on it. If you've been here before, welcome back, supporters of ours. And here on Good Earners, we like to talk about family, finessing, finances, and feelings in the world of Tony Soprano, bringing you a new perspective, a fly perspective, and a black perspective. If they say Young Thug, we say Tupac Shakur. If they say Charleston White, we say Clifford Harris. If they say sneakers and collard greens, we say don't forget the fried chicken. Spike Lou, Rich, what's up with y'all?
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Oh,
Our listeners, our listeners that are not black have no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh man, I like that. I like that, man.
Oh man, it's good to talk to y'all,
What's
brothers.
going on, fellas?
What's going on, guys?
It's a lovely evening. I'm sipping peppermint tea. Spike Lou, what episode we reviewing today, brother?
Mo, this is episode 3 of season 4, entitled Christopher. Really pump faked us there with this title, but we'll get into it. In this episode, the Italian Americans, they're coming to the defense of their hero, Christopher Columbus, and everybody has a little input about it. Also, Paulie tells Johnny Sack a joke that's going to affect the business. Ro and Ralph, they hit a rough patch, and we think Janice will appreciate it, but she has her eyes elsewhere. And Big Bobby Bacala suffers a tragic loss. This is episode 3 of season 4, entitled Christopher.
So the guys, they're outside of Satrial's, and they literally are laying the groundwork for what this episode is going to be about. They're talking about Columbus Day. Christopher Columbus, he discovered America, as they say, and everybody has a whole different take on this. There were some interesting things that stood out. Christopher's take, speaking to his generation of, like, you know, I mean, what they did like slaughter all of the like Indians, the Native Americans, you know. I'm tripping. Ralph's point, Furio's point, which Furio hit us with a twist as well. What did y'all think about this opening scene?
I thought it's also before I get into the opening scene, this episode is written by Michael Imperioli, who plays Christopher, which I thought was very interesting.
That's a triple pump fake. What is going on?
Yeah, man, when we talk about that whole pump fake scenario. But this episode focused a lot on identity. Identity and how you identify, how you relate, pointing out that everybody has a different perspective and point of view, even within your own culture. You know, the wider out it gets, the wider the net is spread, the more easy it is to find people that are like you and kind of latch on. No different example. If you go out of the country, you're not staying on a resort or something like that. You're more primed to connect with an American, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're an American, I'm American too. We got similar experiences. If you're in the States, if I'm in Georgia, I'm more primed to connect with somebody who's from Ohio. Oh, you're from Ohio, I'm from Ohio too. Oh, you're from Cincinnati, I'm from Cincinnati too. It gets deeper and deeper. So it's interesting that this episode explored that. And it's also funny just being 3 black men watching Italian Americans make the case about having it serious. And I'm very curious to know if some of our Italian American listeners, what their thoughts are on with this whole Christopher Columbus episode, all of that, man, because it's hilarious, and it's considered when it came out, and even today is widely considered the worst episode of Sopranos. And I'm curious to know what you guys think about that.
So I agree.
Just
what was the last
yes or no.
What was the last part? What'd you say?
It's widely considered the worst episode of Sopranos. Out of all 86 episodes, it's the worst rated. It got the worst commentary. People hate this episode. It's not like it's the worst episode. It's like it's the worst by a wide margin. And I want to know what y'all think.
Not by a wide margin. I think Chasing it is up there.
One of the dream episodes probably would be for me that are coming later on. However, I could understand that because this is like a preachy episode. Mm-hmm. This is almost like them being like, oh, we want you to understand what Italian Americans go like, bro. No, nobody cares, bro. I'm not even to be harsh or nothing like that, but we're not tuned in for that. And I think I that's probably how it rubbed a lot of people and why it's rated so low.
You hit the nail on the head. When I was reading things on it, one of the main complaints was like, okay, we get it. Like, we get it. Like, y'all ain't got to do this all episode. So yeah, man. I was just curious about your thoughts on that. But yeah, this opening scene just portrays what I said earlier, man. Just connecting to see when you talk about Furio, his relationship with Columbus. We love him here in America. I hate him for where I'm from. I'm from the real place. We could talk about, Black people. We have the people from Africa versus people born in America. That whole diaspora. It's always an interesting conversation. So it's entertaining to see it from someone else's eyes.
Yeah, and they kind of done this already in season 1, Legend of Tennessee Moltisanti. Like, they already kind of did this with like the Italian takes on the portrayal of Italians through mob movies, and we got the Melfi family scene. We got they kind of bounced around Tony at on the golf course with the white men in the country. We already kind of got that already. So that I can definitely say, like, all right, we get it. So, but I agree with Spike with the preachy thing.
Yeah, did a little too much on this.
Yeah,
not to give anything away.
Is it worse than?
It's my fault, Mo. Go ahead.
I don't know if you answered. Is this the worst episode for you?
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think there's that dream sequence in 6A.
Okay.
That's it.
There's also.
I know people say the hit is the hit.
Johnny's Gumar. Nah,
that's the chasing.
Johnny's Gumar.
That's
the chasing. Yeah, that one. I think those
that's
two
the one
would be it for me. I think I
Which
got
one?
this above.
Yeah, I said about Tony's Gumar.
Yeah,
about Johnny's, his dad's Gumar.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Oh, the old bitch.
Yeah, chasing it. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. That ain't the dream. I think the dream is the worst. But
I don't want to hear no hit is a hit slander no more after this episode. I'm never gonna get off that ledge. For real.
Yeah, that's fair, man. That's fair.
But it was a funny line Bobby Bacala had. I wish I could be here just sitting down smoking mushrooms, collecting government checks. I thought that was hilarious. I mean, obviously it's a funny line, but it's funny because it's like there's a Black version of that. And we know some people like that in our life. That is, sitting around smoking weed, collecting government checks. So I thought that was just a ageless line.
Put that on us, man. Everybody. It's a white version of that too, sitting around smoking meth, getting government checks.
Oh, Breaking Bad out of here.
Right.
But I thought anything else? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I know I was gonna say before you asked that question. I don't know, man. It's one of those few episodes where we just out of episode 46 or whatever it is, 43, out of nowhere, they just care about something. Other than this thing, you know what I mean? They just still so gung ho. It just felt a little weird, didn't it? Like you this deep into why do we never know this about you? Like 40 something episodes.
Yes.
Why do we never know that you took this kind of stance about
this was that important to you? Yeah,
I didn't know you made payments to the Anti-Defamation League and all of that stuff.
Anti-Italian Defamation League.
Yeah. It's just an interesting episode, man. It's like going back to the point of preaching. I'm not gonna harp on it.
No,
it's something that really I found funny because they were I really didn't give y'all. I gave a fuck. One of my favorite scenes in this episode, Tony talks about that, and I got some points to make.
There's a fun. I'll wait till we get there, but there's a funny, super random part that Tony plays a part in. I was like, "Yo, where did that come from?" But I will get there. But I think that's probably going to be the sentiment of this episode throughout, is just kind of in that open air conversation about this episode, because we never do it in that style. So I'm open to that. But I believe that we know some people that are new that haven't watched the show like that, and some people that already know. Tony Sirico was originally supposed to, I believe, do this part that Seal does, where for those that don't know, Paulie Walnuts. That was originally a Paulie Walnut storyline. And so if you swap it out and kind of think about Paulie having this superstition and beliefs, you can kind of see like, okay, Paulie, because you can almost like, don't, that was my family with the history. Like you could kind of see like, that makes
perfect sense. That's definitely the character that should have been doing that.
That's why I said, when I heard that, I was like, dang, that's crazy. because that would have been a better fit for. But I want to give Stevie Van Zandt credit because for this to kind of be the way it was played out, he still was believable. He did his part. I just think that maybe the writing for him to do this, I think he got more out of his acting ability than the actual script in this episode.
Oh yeah, it's even more impressive considering that Steven Van Zandt, he's actually won awards for his humanitarian, specifically towards indigenous people, like fighting for sovereignty rights, champion those type of rights, his human rights activism. So when you think about how much he actually is on the opposite side of what he's portraying in this episode, the acting kind of goes up a notch.
It's crazy. We go to the Housewives of New Jersey. They're at Planet Fitness, getting the body in shape, doing the thing they do. And they talk about going to this women's speaker conference about Italian pride. And they're having a conversation and everything and chilling out. But then there's a conversation that's had about Furio and how Furio basically to them is a snack. Except for Adriana. Adriana wasn't feeling it about Furio. She don't like the ponytail. She feels like it looks like a penis. Or somebody told her that they felt that that's what it looked like. Is there anything y'all got from this scene other than obviously the calm,
To remind us of Karen, I think. But of course, what happens later. Give us a little gentle reminder that she's around so it's not a shock. And the generational differences between the rest of the girls and Adriana.
Yeah. Only thing I want to point out is at the end of the scene, they're paying Adriana. Carmela's talking about being a two-face. She's obviously dealing with that, but also we don't really get scenes like this with Adriana and the rest of the wives. So I think it's showing Adriana still is looking for that companionship that she just lost from Danielle. She needs somebody to be around that she can get off on that emotional connection and things like that.
That's a great point. I'm a big fan of.
That is a good point.
I was gonna say I'm a big fan of when they shoot in locations that are not like necessarily the popular ones. So I like seeing them in this element. I'm just a big fan of that in shows where they go on a vacation or they go here, they going somewhere totally different on the episode. I'm a big fan of that. So great.
I think other than playing tennis, I don't think we've seen Adriana with anyone else. Or like there's a big house party where everybody's there. So I think this was one of those first shots. So I think they did that too.
I think you're right.
That is cool. That is cool, like you said. Getting different locations. So speaking of different locations, we got our next scene.
Janice.
Oh,
Janice is with Ralph Cifaretto, and she's right up his alley, as Spike alluded to last week.
Jeez. Right. Holy cannolis.
Jeez, Janice is top tier with the filthy talk right here. I'm not going to repeat these lines. I don't like that type of talk. But she is getting to it with Ralph Cifaretto. And by far one of the filthiest, disgusting in the tone of Silvio's voice. When he picks up the phone, I think it's Ro that calls. And so she decides to take care of herself. And then they try to get back to it. But if we understand what's going on here, this is very unsanitary.
There's no way she did that,
bro.
I've never even thought of that until you just said that. She did not do that. I thought the thing was just still on.
She went under the cover, bro. I don't know. I was like, yeah, bro. Janice is a hippie.
Never paid attention to that. She couldn't have. Bro. She didn't,
take a look again. Roll the cameras.
She didn't go butthole to vagina,
bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Janice is you know what I mean? Any means necessary. That's Janice, man.
Holy smokes, man.
Oh my gosh, bro. I thought that was crazy. What were you gonna say, Rich? My bad.
Nah, you good. I never picked up on that until that rewatch because I was wondering where that buzzing was. I told myself the buzzing was it just being going on while he was on the phone. Because I know wasn't nothing going on with him, but I never thought about her using it on herself. Also, just want to point out, this is gonna live on forever. We don't kink shame here at Good Earners, man.
All right.
Get it how you get it.
Do you?
But knowing what we know about Ralph, the character,
Yes.
this is some wild shit. And
Wild.
Yeah. He tops from the
And-
bottom.
Jesus.
they didn't
Christ.
just drop this
Ew.
on us.
Yeah.
If everybody remembers, Jackie Jr. said it to Dino. I
Mhm.
think he's a secret.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, he just this
This-
is what he
this
and
is
like Ern said in Atlanta, man. Sexuality is a spectrum, man. Get it how you live, man.
The references,
This is a
he's got it.
string.
Man. Got it.
Bro, this is a string on a sweater that if you pull it, it just keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know the show, you start asking yourself, like, okay, because then that, as we've all talked about here with Richie, he was
Mhm.
kind of like you
Mhm.
said, Mo, the April crew.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie dropped the line. We see my man with the head bent over on the couch,
Mm-hmm.
who God knows what the stripper chick was
Bro.
doing to him.
Yeah, bro.
Like, just,
Yeah.
and the basketball game that I mentioned earlier this week, it makes it look even kind of funny to me.
Bro, yeah.
Doing what we know, like forcing this man to play basketball. What else you forcing on him? But this is a
Bro.
wild scene.
Dog. I mean, we harken back to Tracy. Remember when I talked about, you know, they was at the VIP section and he had another individual involved. And I'm like, bro, you already have her. Why do you have more participants? You know what I mean? So it's again, it's just a Ralph Cifaretto. Like that's I will say this.
It's a joke.
It
All right, it's a joke. All right.
bro, that is the I'm sorry, y'all probably like that is the worst to say. It's a all right, man. Anyway, let me move on. But it's like when you say the worst thing and say just play, I'm just playing. Like, no, you're not. Like, you're not.
Do y'all think Janice was freestyling or was she instructed by Ralph to use the language that she was using? Like, do she know that's what get him off? Did she ask him? Did they just kind of stumble upon it? Like, how the fuck do you get to that dialogue?
I think Ralphie doesn't strike me as the type to be ashamed.
Oh,
He
yeah.
feels like he can trust you. I can see him asking for that. Like, why don't
Mhm.
you do this?
Jeez.
Because Ralph, like, as we've discussed in previous
Christ,
episodes, this is gonna sound crazy, but Ralph can sell it.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ralph's explained it in a way because they made a point later in this episode when Ro was talking about take care of you sexually, like
Mhm.
all like just kind of
Yep.
emphasizing that you have some special needs
Mm-hmm.
that I take
You
care of
wild
for
boy.
you. We see Janice taking care of you. So I think that, if you're gonna
Mhm.
fuck with me, you're gonna do this.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
I just think he sold it and just made it
Yeah.
in a way where it didn't seem weird to Janice.
mhm.
And I don't mean to use the word weird, that is weird doing that, but for somebody of Ralph's stature in the mob, you wouldn't
Yeah.
expect him to be coming to you asking you to do this.
Mhm.
So that's what I mean in that term.
This definitely ain't Janice's first time getting down either.
Nah.
Oh, it's definitely
question.
not.
It's making me question Richie, bro. Like, what was they doing? Like,
Yo, I mean, come on. I mean, Janice is she one of them ones, man. She was ahead of the curve,
she'll
bro.
bring it out of you, I
Bro,
guess.
could you imagine Janice on Instagram, bro? I know I'm going way new age, but
You
bro,
imagine on
Janice-
Twitter, nigga.
Janice
Twitter
be
is where
selling
she
feet.
did her bag.
Janice be selling feet pictures.
she would definitely be selling feet. Janice would be on horrible decisions. She would have an interview.
She would be on
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. She
OnlyFans.
definitely,
She would
have
definitely be
OnlyFans,
on
I'm not gonna lie,
OnlyFans,
man.
bro.
Jeez.
Hustle.
Louise.
Shouts out to Janice
And
Soprano.
she would be using the fact that she's Tony Soprano's sister to get
Oh, absolutely.
better interest.
Oh, she would come up with a code
Oh,
tag name and
I don't-
everything.
I don't mean to get off topic. We'll move on to the next scene. I just thought about the Sopranos in the social media age and what that would look like. Because Tony Soprano will be somewhat a celebrity.
Yeah, he would.
If you know about that life, you would know, the people around him, they'd be trying to get selfies. AJ would be trying to get some clout off that.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Either way, we can move on.
AJ be like T.I. son.
Which one?
The one
folk
that's
singer? Or
Not the
one
money.
you choked.
the other one that kind of like these kids now. He would be like that. Like I had to get it out the mud type deal, but things were well for you. Paulie, he makes a call to Johnny Sack, and Paulie tells him about the 95-pound joke about Jenny. He plays it off kind of lightweight, and then he just drops the bomb on him with no kind of, he just let bombs off. Anything I want to add to that small scene, or is just set up for y'all?
It's probably some of the most bitch ass shit we've seen in what 43 episodes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he skyrocketed to the top. Even the way he
Boy.
picked up the phone was nasty.
Yes.
Like he had that on his chest. So I just wanted to put it out there. Was some of the most, and for no reason either, as
Yeah.
we'll learn to find out later.
Being like on fire to tell is crazy. Like
And
I
led him
gotta
down. The nigga called and led with,
bro.
"Oh man, I'm sorry to hear it." Like,
Bro,
what the fuck is you talking
like-
about? Nigga call me with this jail talk.
Call me with
off my
jail talk.
phone,
That's
nigga.
crazy.
Yeah. I
Think
hope
about
your
it.
Feelings weren't
Do
hurt
you
too
accept the
bad.
charges? Yes, I do. Hey, I'm sorry to tell you this. Like, bro, like that's crazy.
No, I hope your feelings weren't hurt too bad. That immediately put a nigga on like, what the fuck you talking about?
Right, exactly.
And then try to
Exactly.
back out. Oh, you know, never mind. I hope the missus is okay. Oh, my wife in it too. Oh, nigga, you got. Come on with it.
Yeah.
That was some bitch ass shit.
Yeah,
right
that was you right.
100%. And it's that mob code, man. That code of Paulie said it in that manner because he feel better about the fact that he never told him. Even though we know he ended up telling him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to dance around it, trying to make it seem like, oh, he pulled it out of me. I ain't just come out and straight up tell him.
Exactly. Pause.
Sucker shit, man.
Yeah. But we get the mob meeting.
I just caught that. You stupid.
We get the mob meeting and everything is going good. Johnny Sack is in front of Ralph Cifaretto, and he just immediately yells, "I'm not talking to you!" Like Johnny cannot, like as smooth as he is, it is crazy. That man cannot hide. He cannot be discreet. When it comes to his wife, we're going to see a lot more how high he goes on the spectrum of his behavior, bro. He cannot hold his peace. Like Ralph was looking at him like crazy because you got to remember a few episodes last season, Ralph was at his crib.
That was his man's.
Yeah, it's like, bro, you my homie, and you know what I mean? I'm talking about, Tony Soprano, and you just moved out to Jersey, and now it's like he's looking at him like, bro, where's this coming from?
He was trying to join a crew.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
Yeah. And he really
and that gives you a reason too to see why I see Johnny Sack point of it. This was great skipping right to it. Like, you snake motherfucker, you probably been making these jokes this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And then running up to me complaining about Tony, you at the crib, you trying to join the crew.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see him being that pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who told him about that property.
Paulie.
How did Paulie know about that?
Little Paulie?
Probably little Paulie.
You got to think, little Paulie, you tie that back to Patsy. Patsy, you tie it back to, Chris or Sylvia.
That was a solo play that Tony hooked up by himself, though. Because you got to think, the alderman dude was telling Tony, he's like, the espionage is going further than we thought. I know you got the property over there.
So you're right. So, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Because Tony put that together by himself, it looked like.
Because I made a note. All right, so let's talk about it because it's in the scene. It's either Paulie or it's got to be the Congress councilman, whatever he is, right?
So that's what I was wondering. Was it another rat?
That's what he is.
Yeah, the assemblyman.
So
he probably told Johnny.
I wondered, but he probably didn't tell him on some. Yeah. He probably was on some. Yeah, I just told Tony to. Tony just bought some too. I told him he did it. So it's either that or
because he ain't talking about. I guess in passing, but Paulie wouldn't know directly from Tony. And it seemed like Tony was trying to keep that tight to the vest because he didn't want Junior to find out.
Well, I was about to ask, do you think anybody in his crew at the table knew? Like,
that's what I was thinking. Shot to seal? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, somebody else was talking too. It ain't just Paulie. But who was it? Because it didn't seem like that many people know about that. It looked like the line of possession went from the assemblyman. He told Tony. Tony was like, oh shit, Junior got the property over there. He tells Junior, oh, I'll give you an offer on the property. Junior takes it to get the money. But from there, how do we know that? Well, how would it get to Johnny Sack? I wonder.
Well, wasn't that what they were celebrating at the hotel when they had the Polish women there?
They had the chicks. Maybe.
They were celebrating Esplanade, but they weren't celebrating. That was Tony's, like Spice said.
Yeah, that was a solo play.
But I'm saying, but who was there? We got Chris, we got Ralph. So Ralph was.
I'm talking about when that solo move was set up. That was just him at the Italiano. The bird seed.
Yeah, but wasn't they celebrating that?
No, they were celebrating the actual Esplanade.
Oh,
This is
okay.
just some property. You know how it is when they
Oh,
build a
he just got the
stadium in
flip.
your
That's just a
city.
flip.
Yeah, they build a high-profile casino stadium. You know, everybody come in and buy all this property up because we
Buying the
know it's about
property,
the
and I can
value about to
triple
go
the price.
crazy. So that's what he was telling Tony to do. Like, hey, this Esplanade coming in, they about to turn all this shit into like high rises, condos, man. Buy some property down here so you can flip it.
Yep.
Like I said, I talked
And he
about the
knew
Jay-Z
Junior
story of
had
OJ. The story of OJ, man. I could have bought a place in
Dumbo.
Dumbo before it was Dumbo. Like, for $2 million. Now
Dumbo.
it's worth 25. Like that's what he's doing.
And Junior had no clue about it, so I'm wondering how Johnny did. Junior got gypped out of it, basically.
I think the assemblyman. Yeah, because Junior,
Okay,
you know, he
assembly.
raising
Yeah,
hell.
I think that's the
That
part
nigga,
of.
that nigga mad about cell phone bills.
Right. So you definitely would have knew. It seems like if it was just out in the streets like that, Junior would have been pissed about it too.
The real question I want to ask about the scene is that do you think Carmine, I love Carmine.
Yeah,
he's that old school. You speaking for me, and tell him that other thing I wanted to know about. Johnny, hey, Tony, I'm looking at him, man. He eating his food, man. I ain't even listen. Talk to him.
Talking to y'all. All of y'all beneath me.
Yeah.
But do you think
Like,
this
I
was
ain't
a
having
reason?
no conversations at this table.
Yeah, was this a fair ask?
I thought it was.
Yeah, it wasn't too far off.
This is not.
Are you talking about the money from the flip, or are you talking about the extra guys?
The money from the flip.
Oh, nah. That ain't got nothing to do with it.
You think they were in their right to ask for that because, hey.
You said the property is hot because of the Esplanade.
Yeah, but this is different. This is my assemblyman homeboy. Like, hey, this property down there. I just so happen to know that Junior got it down there. That ain't got nothing to do with y'all.
How did he get connected to the assemblyman? That's kind of, did Johnny Sack hook that up with the assemblyman?
Even if so, we paying for sentences of information now.
Yeah, I mean, it seems it's definitely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right.
So I wonder I'm wondering like what kind of split he's looking for. It's almost like the famous scenario, we walking on the street and I found an envelope full of money. You with me? Do I owe you half of it, or is it cool if I just break you off? Is it cool? I keep it all the same. That depends on what type of person you are. But do I owe you? If somebody wants to ask, do I owe you half because you was here? You ain't found it. I picked it up.
You just happened to be here.
It's like the casino thing too. You
It's
lose
kinda like,
your
I'll give
last
you
at the
something.
casino. You lose your last at the casino. You ask your homeboy for 50, and you go hit for 50 racks. Do you owe him 25 racks, or do you owe him $50 back?
Perfect question. The real answer is look,
it really depends on what type of person that you are.
What type of person you are. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you my man's, I'm gonna break you off, but you ain't entitled to 50, right? I mean, if you want to give him 25, that's you a hell of a human being. But shit, if I got $5 grand for $50, why would I complain about that? So there's always
some niggas
different
that be
ways.
mad about that 5,000 though. Man, it
Yeah.
went for my 50. You know how niggas. It went for my 50, man.
Entitlement.
You wouldn't have it, man.
100%.
Half that's supposed to be
90%.
mine.
90%. He hit for 50, only gave me 5.
Right. You're right.
You mean 5,000? Jesus.
And I don't want to hear about the economy.
Yeah. But that's interesting, man. I've always been curious to know what other people thought about that ask, because I would have been like the audacity of you been asking, bro. This is my shit.
See, because Johnny Sack, we love Johnny Sack, but this is where the chink in the armor really starts to come out, where it's some energy that's not the most tough guy, wise guy energy that comes out, where it's like you're really being real petty because you're emotional right now. And that is definitely a big chink in his armor. Because at least with Tony, he goes to therapy, but I don't feel like he makes emotional business decisions.
And that's why we love the show, because it's human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's his human element.
It's true. Furio and Carmela at the Soprano house. Carmela's eating with this Father Phil style flirtation, up with the coffee and the cherry on top of the, what is it, a cake, a cookie? What was this?
Strufoli.
It's
like strufoli. It's like funnel cake with rainbow sprinkles.
That sounds good. All right. But what did y'all think about this scene? This is where it's starting to, the build starts to happen. They're like doing this for new fans. Y'all start to pick this up. Old fans, you already know. They're doing this I call it office work flirting. It's like you know what you know
Your
you're
work wife.
yes, like you're doing this. Oh, hey, I'm above board. Like I didn't send you no personal emails. I didn't text you, but you and I know what's going on. Like this is the
But
type of thing.
yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely doing that right now. Oh yeah, this is good. Like she brought him his coffee and everything. Like I peep game all the way through. It's slick, but it's like I peep game all the way through. What y'all think about this? And even the Montel Jordan, shouts out to the black brother and that conversation they were having on the television.
Yeah, his comment about the slave trade was great. It was really good and putting everybody in their place. And let's all be realistic here. Native Americans and Italian Americans. Let's be a little bit more realistic in this conversation. That's for one. Two, I was interested in this perspective for you as a husband, Mo. You have that accomplishment over Rich and I, because I know me, I may be a little petty in the sense of like, bruh, you're the driver. I don't like, why are you bringing funnel cakes to the crib? Like, why are y'all sitting having coffee at the table? Like, brother, you slick your weight in the car. Like that would have been my approach. But
I think
again, I'm not a husband.
I think that says more about how Tony views Furio. I don't think you're just a driver. What I mean is, I don't think you're just a driver. No, not even the threat part. I just don't think you're just a driver. I think you're somebody that I call family.
I took that the wrong way. I thought you meant it.
Oh, I definitely took it the wrong way. I think
no.
I definitely took it the other way.
Yeah, I took that the wrong way, bro.
Yeah.
Y'all look too. If I come out the stairs and like you pouring this nigga coffee, he done brought a gift over here. Like, oh, what? Hey, from now on, bro, just wait on me outside.
Yeah, that's how
that's
it should
what we'll
be.
do.
But they do a great job of pointing this against Bobby in this episode, and the way they think about their wives and they care about their wives, the way they pay attention to their wives. Like Tony, the reason that can happen is because Tony's not even paying attention to it. He's so egotistical that he can't even imagine Carmela having the balls to be on something like that, or Furio for that matter. So I don't even think it goes to his head. Had he been paying attention, it'd have just been on some hold up. Like, bro, come on, stop.
That's crazy.
Martin Payne would have been like, hey man, ease up off my woman, man.
Right.
Ease up off my woman. Like,
right.
Or made
Step
a
back,
joke about it.
just a touch. Just a touch.
Yeah.
Not even in that sense. I would have been just as subtle as they would have. You know what? From now on, bro, I'd like to have a car warm. So just stay in that motherfucker. Make sure that he done shit on. Don't you come through my door? No,
I mean, this is a good look. This is a good looking dude. Like he's a good looking dude. He's in shape. I mean, come on, like
Tony's not paying attention.
I know what, because he hot. That's like true. Tony's hot in the street, so he can't even. You know they watching me, but who's watching you? You know, type of deal. Like I don't know. It's crazy.
Did you see Carmela roll her eyes when he came down the steps?
Let me see.
Mad he was interrupting their free time.
Yeah, like just huffed and puffed and shit. Like, yeah, man. Like, damn, I just got finished. Yeah, I just got finished looking at the pictures of the house that I want him to, lay me down in and shit. And now I got to go back to reality.
And two, as viewers, we have a little bit more context than Tony does. He don't know about the contractor or like how close Father Phil was either. Like she even though she explained it to him, he really still don't grasp like he could have took your wife now.
Yeah, that's true.
And from that perspective, to be fair, if we didn't get the emphasis that Furio and Carmela had this flirting thing going on as viewers, will we pick up on anything different? Will we look at it as just, that's just such and such coming to pick up Tony? So I think that's a good point, Spike. If we look at it from Tony's perspective, maybe he's not even thinking about, we know that there's something going on. If we didn't, as viewers, like you said, the show didn't even emphasize it. We would just thought, Furio's coming over, she offering coffee. Like that's what Carmela does. Versus, we know there's something going on. I don't know.
Thanks.
Now, I think I would say that's a great point, but I would say I think we would still be like, we have enough, enough history with Carmela, like you said, Father Phil and Vic, and even like we talked about a little subtle with the tennis instructor. You know what I mean? So I feel like we would be like, oh, there go Carmela. She kind of doing that, that extra nice thing. Remember, she was trying to pack up lunch for Vic and all, So you started. I think we would have picked up. Okay, there's something, but I don't think we would have thought anything of it further than like, there go Carmela. She doing something. I don't know what this is, but.
And Hey, I would have went through the fucking roof if I found out that my wife, nigga, this nigga already to do a job. You having picnic lunches with him, man. What the fuck are you on? What the fuck you got going on over
The
here?
audacity of us men to be out here having Gloria Trillos in our life and then be mad at a mug that a man coming around eating funnel cake around our wife.
Nigga, yes. Yes.
The audacity of us, right? But one line that I did like before we move to the next scene is the Native American gentleman. He said Italian pride parade, sure, but Columbus parade, like, nah. And I thought that was a fair ask. You know, I mean, I get it. I thought it was a fair ask, you know, but that's about it. Also, Tony mentions that this is they haven't had a trial from the Sopranos in 16 years. So that's pretty good.
I wonder who that was. They never really get into that.
Who?
Would that have been his dad?
Yeah, I don't know.
The Soprano child.
That's a good question.
I wonder if he meant the Soprano family, like not their actual.
Oh
Sopranos,
yeah, like just an affiliate.
Like
yeah, true.
Yeah,
true.
somebody else.
It's probably what is it, DeMeo? It's probably the DeMeo guy that was like we never seen him.
Probably the thing that took Tony down, like his cousin, and Beach and all them. That's probably them getting out from that trial.
I thought that was a 10-year though. They are no. You may be right. You may be right. Good call. We get a short scene, Junior's trial. He's just complaining about phone charges. I don't know if y'all want to add anything else to that, but it was a pretty short scene.
They never really. So this is an interesting scene in the sense of Junior's been complaining about money for the whole season, 3-4 episodes now, but nothing never is really done to address that. Like we don't see him get. I don't remember to this point anyway any extra rackets he's getting. Of course, he sold the property to Tony, but it's never really shown. And it made me think about the time that Janice said he had money buried in the backyard. Like it's never really shown like how he takes care or rectifies the situation of him having money problems. But they go out of their way at this trial to show him talking about it and the previous 3 episodes. So I'm wondering what happened to him.
I think you're right. I mean, I think Junior just old school. I don't think he has the like he was making money with Richie. Like I think when Richie was around, that's why Junior was like kind of okay with him like moving some coke or whatever. Even though they don't, you know, the mob guys they don't believe in moving drugs. But I think he was okay with that little racket because Richie was bringing in that little extra for him. So, but I don't think Junior. I think Junior lacks the creativity as far as generating real new forms of income. I just don't think he has it. He's old school. Probably I got this this building and this money keeps coming in from that, but I don't think he has the same kind of creativity. That's why Ralph Cifaretto is so essential, because he keeps coming up with ways of making money. He's keeping this thing, keep this thing running. So, but yeah, that's great. That's a great thing to keep an eye on.
Yep.
The women
this was the beginning of. Do you think this was showing how frugal, or I guess how broke Junior is, or maybe starting to look into the state of his mind?
I think it's probably the broke thing. I think it's just like you kind of you still say like you're the boss of the family, but you don't really, we don't pay up to you like that. I'm letting you earn on a substantial level, but you out of the way, my nigga. Like you're not really that guy. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just, you just kind of you're eating off of you're in the retirement side of the mafia, basically. I feel like,
I got you.
But yeah, so we're at the women conference. This is it's got an interesting little dynamic to this. Charmaine and Carmela are both at this conference, along with many other Italian women, and they have this look with one another, which is very interesting because it's two sides of the coin of this Italian experience in regards to this show and the, in the mob and out of the mob, experiences and all those things. And it's funny because Charmaine, obviously, I believe she has such a resentment for them. Obviously, she's voiced that throughout the series, but Carmela thinks differently about what it is. It's like Carmela feels above board and everything is all good till she runs into a person like Charmaine. And it makes you realize you dirty. You dirty, bro. Like you, because you don't know all of the details of what, and I think that comes through Carmela's behavior a lot. But I throw the ball in y'all court, and then even Father Phil with his little jab or whatever. What did y'all think about this thing? Because this is a classic moment.
When you say you dirty, are you talking about Charmaine is giving her the look, Carmela look, telling her that Carmela's dirty? Or are you saying Carmela's calling Charmaine dirty for giving her the look?
I think Carmela internally feels that, like, you feel above, well, I got a daughter in college, and I got, you feel good about those things till you come across a Charmaine Bucco.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay, I follow what you're saying now.
You think that the lady is speaking to the real Carmela, like the problem with the perception of Italian Americans.
Yeah, like she's speaking for the Charmaines of the world. That's why the Carmelas in the whole wives of New Jersey are offended, because
I was really
yeah, go ahead.
I was really surprised. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, as the old saying goes, man, hit dogs holler.
Hit dogs holler.
Yeah, it's hard when it's hard when the truth comes. Like,
Yeah.
You never heard that saying before, Mo?
That's a new one on me.
Yeah, hit dogs holler. Like your anger, you being upset at it is partly in part, or it's partly because you know that it's true. Like, I know that what I'm doing is a part of everything she's saying. I'm condoning it. We've seen that with Carmela. Battle that morally. I'm here to stay, but I think just last week, I think Spike was talking about her deserving everything she get because she's decided to stay. So when she hears it and everybody giving her that look, I can't get mad because they do got a point. It's one of those type of moments. But it's still fucked up.
It's always been surprising to me in this scene, how much of a known unknown that it is. I really thought that they did a better job of kind of concealing what Tony does, or the perception of him. Like, of course, the kids and Meadow calls him out on it, and people that are directly associated with them may know. But the random glances from the church ladies, that's always been surprising to me. Not even in the sense of maybe they don't know what Tony does, but even in the sense that they got the audacity that when she says this, to like turn around and look at me like, bitch, are you crazy? In the sense of, if you think that it's that obvious, then you should feel in danger as far as looking around at me and point me out in this public forum. So I never really understood that. I did get in the sense of, I did appreciate Carmela not really, she kept face for the most part. She done what she was supposed to do. That's her job as the Don's wife, as far as like, why do you think he's talking to me? Ro and the other chicks are the one that took more offense to it for their friend, which I found pretty interesting.
Yeah. I think this is one of those scenes too for me where I always make jokes about the backdoor Carmela spinoff. You know what I mean? Like, it never happened, y'all. This is just a good earners, theory land or whatever. But like, this would be a great premise if they had done a version of this, not like in this era, but like if they were doing like literally like the wives of the mob. I mean, I know they got reality show, but like, this is the version, because it's like how they do. You'll notice later how one of them opens Carmela's door. Like, you never really seen this level of reverence for Carmela like that until like this moment. I mean, of course they eat dinner together, but this was a moment where, like, how could they talk about you like that? Like, they're not involved because they're looking at her like the Don's wife. This right here is golden material of what I feel like another version of, okay, if we want to bring the Soprano cast, not the cast, but the writers and producers, to create a show built around wives of the mob. I feel like this is like one of those moments that I could see that kind of being a thing. But this is one of the most interesting moments I felt from Father Phil, because he really had like a real issue, but I didn't know what side he was defending. I mean, I think he was defending like Carmela and them for that little small comment or whatever. Like they say, the little depiction about it's just a depiction thing versus the real thing. And but yeah, I mean,
wherever the money at, bro, wherever the opportunity at, that's where he fall.
Yeah, I think
he's for hire.
Yeah, here's what I think, because of a subtle look. When she first brought up, which this is crazy, when they say John Gotti, we say Rudolph Giuliani. I think you walked that statement back today.
Now, I was just thinking that when I seen it, that you ain't saying that now. I promise you.
Definitely ain't saying that now. But in 2001, of course, with everything with 9/11 and all that, exactly who people were looking to. That's how he got on my radar. I know he's been around to people in New York, but for somebody who's not from New York City, that's when Rudolph Giuliani came to my realm of reality. But when she started mentioning that, it flashed to panned over to Father Phil, and he kind of had a look like, ooh, like, and that was one of those, I knew she was capable of going there, but I didn't have a talk with her to say don't. So however the chips may land, so since she went there, okay, let me try to save face and make it look like it ain't that. But it is an open forum.
Yeah. Anything else y'all want to add to that scene or whatnot?
Nope.
Okay. But we see Karen in here. For a moment, I thought Karen was Angie. I kind of look. I was like, no, that's not Angie. But yeah,
Angie out here at the grocery store slinging cheese,
selling sausage samples.
Yeah, man.
Damn, Jesus.
Nah, they got the cheese. This, they rotate them every week, man. So
you're right.
Cheese
You're
this
right.
week. You know what I mean? Next week it's gonna be breakfast meat, man. It's gonna be all types of shit, man. Shout out to Angie.
Shout out to Angie, man. We go over to the riot scene and
hold on, real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna pan over to Cecile's wife going over into the office. But do you think she was just
go ahead.
Yeah, Gab, do you think she was crowd pleasing? You think she really cared like that, or she was just trying to make a point to Carmela? Like, we got your back. I'm gonna get in good with Carm. Like,
I think it was both.
Okay.
I think she's doing, and they're showing that she's a reflection of Seal, Tony's number 2. So in essence, this is Carmela's number 2. Like,
yes,
yeah, you're talking about her, but you also, this is offending me too. Like, this is my husband, not just Tony Soprano. Like, this is all of them. So yeah, I think this was grandstanding 100% Rich, but I also think that she was kind of defending herself too.
Okay, I got you. And see that, and that's part of when you just drop an episode and we realize that people care about shit. That's when I'll be like, all right, is this real or not?
Yeah, all of this shit for you. Exactly.
Yeah, appreciate
you. So we go over to the riot scene, and it's the
Mussolini was Hitler's bitch.
Yes, they get right to it. Like, get right to it. They're going back and forth between. How should I classify them? I don't want to misclassify. Is it okay to say Native Americans? Or I mean,
indigenous people.
Indigenous people.
Indigenous probably.
Yeah, I think
indigenous people. Okay, if I misquote, if I say anything else, I don't mean in a disrespectful way. So if anybody listening that happens to be of that ethnicity, please don't take offense to it, because I'm just not that familiar and I may forget. And sidebar,
I'm about to say we're always open for correction.
We're always open for correction, and that is not a license for you to say nigga. All right. So, but we get to the riot, man. And
what about color? Can I say colored people?
Colored might be worse. Colored is worse.
I might laugh at somebody's face if they call me colored.
I will laugh though.
Do you guys prefer black, African American, or colored people?
Colored is.
I say nigga. I say nigga.
Yeah, just say nigga.
Just call.
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
Call
me
nigga. Just wait.
Yeah,
just play your roll the dice. Just call me nigga.
Let's see how that works.
Just roll the dice. Let's see how that plays out.
Yeah. Just make sure you use the A.
Since we this far along.
Yeah,
since we this far along.
That's crazy. Like, colored is wild. But we get that, and they're going back and forth, the indigenous people and the Italian people, and Artie gets out the car with the cigarette in the mouth. You know, Silvio walks up. And we really see, this is why I tell y'all, I still believe, this is why I say it all the time, but Georgie is really special, because he thought
Georgie
it was.
do? I ain't even people.
Okay, so Georgie is walking out with them, and he's got that dumb look on his face, and
you hate Georgie.
No, it's just he's one of those people where it's like, oh, I think that, nah, bro, I think you should really consider. But anyway, he grabs an officer, then he steals on another officer, and they begin to start mollywopping them with their clubs, bro. And then that's when the riot starts to break out. And Patsy's climbing the pole to get to fake Columbus. And Artie comes up and said, that better not be Columbus. Like, little Paulie gets hit with a bottle, and Artie gets hit with a slushie.
My man, Artie was trying to get up out of there.
No, bro.
Hey,
Artie
hopped up out of the car like this, wasn't it? Like, this ain't even my speed, bro. I don't even know why I'm here. Let me hit this cigarette to calm me down. Like Artie wasn't even supposed to be there, man. That shit was hilarious, bro.
Bro,
Jeez.
I swear.
I thought Artie was about to be on some walking tall shit the way he popped out the car.
Oh yeah, he walked out with the
He
scene
did hop
wrap.
out like he was finna do the business, bro.
I mean, this is why it doesn't. It just this just seems so weird. Like,
And my man ain't climbing that pole either.
You
Like,
see what I'm
he ain't
saying?
that
Like, it's
hell
like
Come on,
Patsy
bro,
is
stop.
not climbing a pole, bro.
Patsy? Like, stop, bro. It's not.
Maybe little Paulie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see him on.
Yeah, maybe little Paulie would have pulled that off.
But it's like Patsy's not doing that, bro. This is why
Little Paulie with the bottle.
bro. Like the contrast, like this man got
This
hit.
scene is great, man, because they
Yeah, it
usually
is.
are the aggressors,
Mhm.
and they got their asses handed to them out
Yeah.
there playing with the indigenous people.
Yeah,
My man
man.
already hopped in the car like, no.
Bro, because I've been around people like that, and I've been that person too, where it's like, oh, this escalated fast. This is not my, like, Artie
Damn,
got
this
in
wasn't
there.
what I
He
expected.
he was scared for his life for real. Like, hey, I got to get home to Charmaine. Like, I get home. You know what I mean? I got, you know. So it's a really funny scene.
It is, man. Great. It's a great scene.
It's a great scene. Ain't too much more I want to add to that. There's a small scene in between that though. Carmela, they're walking to the car. There's Karen. There's Road. They're having and Gab. She just tells her that she went off on Father Field, and everybody heads their way. Then we go to Bobby Bacala. He's in the car. Gets a phone call from his kids saying that Karen wanted him to pick up Eggplant. He was like, "Why can't she do it?" And that's where the scene kind of ends at that moment between those two. Anything y'all wanted to add between those two small scenes?
This scene has affected me in real life as far as to never do that with people I love out of frustration.
Ooh,
I always try to take a minute and be like, you know what? I'm irritated right now before I go into that rant even to myself, because you never know what's going on. Like this, I think about this a lot. This scene right here.
Hey, listen, 100%. I do this anytime I have a conversation or a conversation ends, whether it's not the best of tone or whether it's just any indication of if this was the last combo, how would I feel about that? And I usually don't think about stuff like that, but this is exactly a prime example. Because just living with what Bobby got going on, man, it's like, damn, man, you really feel for Big Bobby.
Yeah, man.
And seeing from this scene to what happens, like, there was literally nothing but frustration. Like, Bobby fucked with her. Like, it wasn't that, oh, this woman irritates me and I'm glad that this happened, or maybe even on some here go a cross reference for you, Mo. Even on some George Costanza shit, where he wanted his wife to die.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, he was praying for that.
Yeah,
but Bobby was just like, he was just genuinely frustrated, and he's like, damn, I'm having a bad day. I shouldn't have said that. You know what I mean? To your son too. And it's the last thing he hear you saying about your wife. Like, yeah, that's a really impactful scene, man. Because Bobby really is that type of guy. Man.
It's crazy too. With an episode like this, it could have hit more. It could have hit more. The only reason I say this is because the fact that you're in the car and you're in traffic to the actual accident is crazy. It's like that. There's so much more there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously finding out later, but I almost feel like at that moment somehow, like,
I kind of like the subtle shit in it, though, Mo.
I do like the subtle. That's what makes Sopranos.
I kind of like that we had to find out, like, oh damn, that nigga was sitting in the wreck as he was doing it. I liked it.
Nah, it was fire.
Plus, this too, not to diminish the death or anything, because we know how much she meant to Bobby. This was just a seed. Mm-hmm. This was just so they can crop this later to something bigger that we saw. Yeah. That's all. This may have been something they probably went back and added to the script. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but this seemed like hey, what if we did this? It could lead to this. Mm-hmm. So,
very cool. Yeah, we get the phone call scene where Carmela finds out and tells Ro that Karen died, and really emotional scene. And then we go Tony at Satrial's, and this is underratedly funny to me. This is the part I was alluding to at the beginning of the episode. Tony comes in, did you hear about Karen? great kid. You know, he's going through the normal thing. The doctor, he's talking about the doctor and this and the Oriental ran into, and he's just going through his regular jargon, but he's got his eye. He's got his, if you look at it, he ain't look nowhere but at Patsy. So he smacked the heck out of Patsy. And Patsy jumped and got like back into like soldier position. But it's so funny because, like, bro, we've never had this type of relationship. I barely got in your crew. You smacking me across the head. Cause you know how you got a buddy or your friend's friend, and like he does something, you like, I mean, I thought I knew he was cool. I didn't think he was that cool. It's like you like, man, should I feel some kind of way right now? Or that like, oh, that's how he rock with. Like, bro, you see what I'm saying? Like this, I rewind this like 3 times, bro. Like, oh my gosh, Patsy.
Tony is a complete sociopath too, bro. That's like, this is literally what Dr. Melfi is treating him for. Like, this happened to this dude that his doctor I know got ran into by an Oriental woman, then immediately smack upside the head. Nigga, what are y'all doing? What the fuck y'all got going on out here, bro?
I gotta say, man,
and he's 100% right too. Yeah, y'all are criminals, bro. What the fuck are y'all doing at a protest? Y'all go sit down somewhere.
I gotta point out the continued racism. Like, obviously with the theme of just you know, that whole thing being this episode, man.
Stereotypes.
Them using that term, which you get hung if you say the word Oriental today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oriental is crazy.
Like, so the fact that they just the whole episode is about them being oppressed and all that, but they easily just let shit fly. Let shit fly, man.
Yeah, we just roll with it. All right.
This is one of my favorite. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You good.
I was gonna say this is one of my favorite scenes because it points out the real thing in America. You know, they're talking, you know, we got this melting pot thing, but when you reach a certain status or a certain amount of wealth or a certain amount of fame, you give up the luxury of caring or being able to openly care about social issues and political issues. And I love the viewpoint that the show gives from Tony's perspective. Like, Sale's talking about, this means a lot to me. You know, we running a business here, bro. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Like, bottom dollar, that's what we care about. And on top of that, if I'm Tony, I know we mourning and shit, but y'all playing cards and shit. I just got finished asking y'all niggas why there's no growth on the family's receipts. Why the fuck is y'all in here bullshit? Like, say your piece about Bobby, but we all know y'all don't really know her like that to be out here like mourning and moping around. So get your ass back on these streets and make this bread, man. No ribs, no rice, no champagne. Get the fuck up.
Cross-reference Rich. That is paid in full.
Fire.
I love how Tony's subtle annoyance with all of this shit just builds throughout the episode. From the time that he comes down and sees it on the TV with Furio and Carmela down there, to here when he got to make the call and Silvio says we need leadership on this. Like, I love that Tony is like, he's giving it grace because he gets it. I'm Italian too. But also there's this eye roll to it. Like, man, are y'all fucking serious, bro? Like, this is what we doing?
Republicans about sneakers too, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, bro. What we doing? Like, we make money with most of these people.
That's crazy.
For real, man.
You know who said that, Mo?
That's that Jordan joint, ain't it?
Yeah, this is it played out in everyday terms. Like, that's what Tony's on. Like, brother, like, I don't care what you pay and what your causes, and this is business.
Tony's on some all lives matters.
Well, you know how bad LeBron would get killed if he said that.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
LeBron tried to use that line, boy.
Crazy. But Janice is in therapy, and it's an interesting point that the therapist makes, that you have replaced your father for your brother in a person of authority that you need to impress. I think this therapist is better than Meadows' therapist and is better than the Nigerian therapist that Carmela had. So I've been ranking the therapists in my head, so it's just a little.
Who you got as number one?
I mean, of course, Melfi's number one. Number two, I'm definitely going to rest in peace to the actor, but the Jewish lawyer, that told Carmela, get out of Dodge. Like, that's blood money. He's number 2 for me.
I like Elliot, man. Elliot number 1 to me.
This man capping like a mother, bro. You hate Elliot.
Elliot a beast, man.
You hate Elliot. You was dogging him season 2.
I'm talking about Melfi's whatchamacallit. Yeah, I fuck with him in the sense of like he teaches her. Like he put he pruned that branch as far as making it what it is as far as Melfi. And I respect Melfi's skills. I think Elliot a beast.
He probably I mean, I guess I would have to put him at number 2 because we don't get a lot more material. So I probably have to put Elliot at 2. But then I go Jewish lawyer 3, and I probably go this therapist number 4, Janice therapist. So.
Nah, she was good. She brought up a really good point too. Of she gets the wheels turning, where she's kind of having the best of both worlds. When I say her, I mean Janice, where she is still involved with somebody in that life, but he's genuinely not like Tony or her father. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for my brother's approval with this one. We see that play out with the rest of this episode. But real quick, we didn't talk about it, but the call to the assemblyman that Tony made.
Oh yeah,
trying to get shit cleared up, man. I love the fact I miss the days when you could just hang up hard, when you can actually hear somebody like angry. Like I'm so angry, I'm about to slam this phone over here.
Yeah.
That's on some bullshit, man. I wonder if that's the moment where I'm curious to know if that's the moment where he might have put 2 and 2 together. Like you not only you're not helping me out, but you helped Johnny Sacks too, or you ran your mouth. I don't know. You're
not as reliable as I thought. Maybe like.
Yeah, and like, this is the point of this relationship. We're not friends, man. I'm not calling you up on Saturday to go play golf, my nigga. Like, when I call you, I expect shit to get done. Like, I don't want to hear you clipping. Tony doesn't know this, but you clipping your nose hairs and shit. That just lets you know how much I don't give a fuck about this. Yeah, it's a touchy subject, Tony. I don't know what to do. Man, fuck you, bro. Like,
yeah, that was a great. I meant to speak to that, but yeah, that's a great point with that. Anything else y'all want to add to the Janice therapy scene, or there's just pretty much that, like the wanting to impress Tony instead of your father being alive and around?
No.
Okay. We go to the next scene. I don't know if this is like a hotel speaking room lobby. I don't know where this is, but Dale Red Clay and Ralph acts like he just ran into him, and Ralph brings this image of a Native American actor who isn't Indian at all and tries to use this as leverage. It's funny how they don't have power in the political realm here as they do in like their street level things. Like that's the only thing I got from this scene. It's very funny how they think that they're like, I bury you. And then even the reaction after the fact.
Yeah, like it's literally holds no weight. Ralph introduced himself as Henry Caruso. Henry Caruso founded Dollar Rental Car. In 1957, he was indicted by the grand jury of Los Angeles for criminal conspiracy to defraud, cheat, forgery, and grand theft auto related to his automobile dealership. Caruso pleaded guilty on 2 counts on April the 25th of the indictment.
That's crazy.
I wonder what the choice was in writing that.
Because he's trying to fraud, cheat, forge, and steal from him. But yeah, like I just thought that was interesting, the name that he chose there.
What I will say before we move on from this scene, unless y'all want to add to it, is I think Ralph is the perfect choice for this.
Oh yeah.
You know how you got Patsy, he was the perfect choice for the Gloria situation. He's the perfect choice for this. He kind of looks like your typical white man or whatever. He kind of speaks the lingo a little bit, got that kind of corporate charm. I think they picked the perfect person, like when you talk about getting in this space. So I always thought it was a good choice for Ralph to be the one to try to, scare them off on everything. But
the only issue I had with this whole scene and this whole idea is the fact that this wasn't news. There were specials run about this like 10 years prior to this episode even coming on, 10, 11, 12 years. So it just seems, I don't know, man. Sopranos usually don't do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They're more aware of it. So for them to, like, that wouldn't be a big deal. Like, this shit been out. You know what I'm saying? We know about this.
Right. Everybody knew this. Like it's funny that they thought they
So
were
him.
in front of the 8 ball and they weren't.
And she told him, like, don't get me wrong, but that it was just his, Red Clay's reaction to it all was just funny to me. Because it's like he was the last one that knew about shit. Honestly, and I'm not even trying to be funny here. I'm not trying to be funny at all. It reminded me a little bit of you, Mo. And I say that really because you have this ability to kind of live in your own world and tune out stuff. Like I'm amazed. We talked about it before. Sometimes I'm genuinely amazed that there's stuff going on that you say I haven't heard about that. And I wish I could have that same palette. I wish some of the shit I wish I didn't hear about either.
Yeah.
Shit, Animal Brown and Spike was just talking about that. Like, talking about the stuff on their timeline and a palette cleanser. So it reminded me of that because like, how do you not know this, bro? It's been out for 10 years. Like everybody knows this. It should have been one of those. This ain't even a big deal.
It's a whole thing. Right. It's the whole thing. Like he should have been able to confront him right there with that, especially with the position that he holds with them. Like, bro, they're like, there are billions of write-ups, not billions literally, but write-ups on the $1 Indians or 1% Indians or whatever you call them. Like all the white men that were trying to use being an Indian and how they got it and get the perks of being an Indian from it with only having 1% blood. So this shit's everywhere.
I want to definitely speak to that a little more when we get to the Doug character.
One more thing about the Caruso character. He has 2 sons. One's named Mark. He's a Los Angeles music executive and CEO of, get this, Angry Mob Music.
Wow.
Angry Mob.
Just thought that was interesting.
You need the Maybach music girl, Angry Mob music, like get that drop.
Hilarious.
Yeah. But we go to the Sopranos household, and this scene, it's just straight BS. Like I have nothing here. Like this is where, to me, okay, now it's really starting to feel very heavy-handed. Because it's like,
Ain't no way AJ reading that book,
bro.
The same nigga 2 episodes ago that had his mom reading the New York Times too is now picking up this book and schooling them on shit. Like, all right.
They made the mistake here. I ain't gonna say made the mistake. This show is great, but where they missed the opportunity is this is the part where Meadows should have been there reading the book and AJ been next to her. That makes more sense. And then AJ could have. What?
I feel what you're saying. Theoretically, it would have made more sense, but given how they're playing Meadow right now, being in her depressive state, still kind of reeling about where she is in life and losing Jackie, it wouldn't make sense that she wouldn't care about that at this point. So that would have been a little bit of a, now all of a sudden she reading books and sitting here with the family and giving out that advice. Like Meadow ain't even herself right now. I just think that it was literally a scene they dropped in to message.
Right. It's like he's a great American explorer, and in this household he's a hero. End of discussion. Like that's funny. Like that's a scene that's used all the time. Even like how Jay is Gandolfini's eyes look with the squint and everything. Like it's funny, but it's like, all right. You know what I mean? It's just like I get it, but I don't know. I just don't know what was hoped to be accomplished.
You know what's interesting, and this is another week in the books type of conversation, but it's something that I couldn't help but think about. Tony knows that Christopher Columbus did the most heinous of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Terrible human being, but still in this house he is respected and looked up at. A lot of times there's a lot of discourse about if Black people don't hold our people a little bit closer when they're chastised, or we easily give them up to the wolves.
That's true.
Versus taking them in and protecting, no matter how bad this person did or fucked up. Like, we're not going to do that like that, at least, especially not in public, maybe within ourselves. And it's just very interesting to see when you think about people who have also done heinous things that are indefensible, things that you really wouldn't want to be associated with in any capacity, but also, he also a brother. Like, if we're going to do that, we're going to do that in-house. You know what I mean? And we're not going to bash our people, or I don't want to give you the idea that it's okay to go around repeating this information, kind of like Meadow said earlier, to outsiders. It's just a very easy comparison, because if
that's dead on.
Somebody
or Kelly
or R. Kelly or somebody like that, the discourse would have been a little bit different.
Yeah.
And it's just very interesting to see. I'm not saying it's right. It's just
but it is it's an observation that is
just an observation.
Very interesting.
Because I've heard people plenty of times like, we the only race to do ours like that.
That's true.
And this is a perfect example of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right there.
There's like no defense for Christopher Columbus. There's no reason why you say he's a good person. But it's just that in you, that pride.
Other than he's Italian, right?
Right. Other than that, and this episode deals with that whole. I think somebody said it. America's a melting pot. Mm-hmm. Well, the longer it goes on, the more it's melting. Mm-hmm. So
I think one of the most interesting things about this scene, Mo, you pointed it out. We go from seeing this dude not even have the desire to read the current events in the New York Times to reading a people's history of the United States, comprehending, also developing a stance on it that goes to the theme of the episode. It's just, it's too much. It was too much. That's why people don't like the episode and think that it was too preachy. You're using a character like AJ to present an opposition to Tony. And we know AJ is not equipped enough to do it. And then even in the sense of going back to Carmela, you use a PhD scholared professor going against Carmela. Like the arguments against each other never make sense. Even the Montel Jordan, but even the Montel Williams debate on TV was completely obscure. Like nobody, there was never an intelligent conversation about this topic throughout the whole episode. But it also felt like they thought that they were being pretentious and had intelligent conversations and back and forth and rhetoric through just the clunky delivery of all of this. So
yeah.
I think this scene really stood out and said that.
I agree. Anything else you want to add to that, Rick? Or
no, that was perfect.
Okay. No, it really was. We go to Karen's funeral, and man, Bobby just can't catch a break.
Bobby,
bro.
A mess, man.
I mean,
oh my God, big Bobby, man.
Steve Sharippa, bro. Goodness Jesus, gracious. This man, the way he get, just the way he gets in that crying bag, he spoke to it on Talking Sopranos, like just staying in his trailer and really going into a place to get there, because a lot of his early work on The Sopranos, he had a lot of those moments. And I mean, goodness gracious, like he already lost his pops, you know what I'm saying? And he lose it there, and he thought he was going to lose Junior. And it's like the way he got like the kind of the cry with the chest bounce. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro. Like, stop, bro. You messing me up. I felt him. I was like, oh, you messing me up, bro. Please.
It was sad.
Goodness gracious, bro. So, but, yeah, so Bobby's he's crying, and the women are just talking about how much that's real love. That's what it looks like. Obviously it's resonating for Carmela, and they're all looking, and even Adriana. And then as she looks over at Tony, and Tony's talking business. Yeah, it's just
and you can't blame me though, man. You gotta think Tony barely pay attention to his wife. You think he's gonna be sad to show remorse for Bobby's wife?
That's true.
I get him.
Yeah, it's on brand. And then I thought that was an interesting thing that Mrs. Gab Dante said someone was on the phone, and they said that Bobby is the only one without a Gumar. And somebody asked who was on the phone with them, and then ironically enough, Jenny Sack pulls up, which I thought was an interesting thing, because we'll find out that Johnny Sack doesn't have Gumars either. So I think that was just a little ha-ha moment, you know what I mean? But anything I want to add to this Bobby funeral scene?
Other than Bobby being a wreck, just showing how it's really the family. Like they got rally around. They were already talking about who's on ZD duty, making sure the fam's good, the kids are cool, take that weight off Bobby. And also just Carmela's, who was he on the phone with? Like, bro, that's not the point. But she's so into it, like all of that going. We've talked about it ad nauseum. Her just knowing I need to get out of this, but I can't.
Mm-hmm. That's a crazy question to ask too.
Yeah,
that's some Carmela shit. That's some Carmela first cross reference that we'll do to Breaking Bad. That's some Skylar White type. That's a
It
Skylar
definitely
White
is a Skylar White.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
bro. You talking about
Skylar
your
White.
list of most hated characters on TV, bro?
Oh,
Skylar's
man.
up there.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started
Get
about
me
Skylar.
started
I'm not
over
on.
here.
Not on.
Small.
Skylar's. It's
Like
crazy.
one of the most heartbreaking scenes in TV history when Walt went to go get that money, and she told him that she gave it.
Bro, wait, don't even bring
Wait,
that up, bro.
hold on, say it. Wait. Bring it back to my remembrance.
The episode that ended when Walter was like just laughing hysterically.
He was in the because he put the money in the crawl space.
Yeah.
And you remember when Walt needed that money because he wanted to disappear. Spoiler alert for Breaking Bad. People have watched it. Walt needed that money. You watched everything, right, Mo?
Yeah, I've seen the whole thing. Yeah,
you remember when Walt wanted to disappear when he thought that Gus had really finally got down on him, and she was like, "Well, I gave the money to Ted so he could pay his taxes."
Oh,
and just a couple episodes earlier, she had just like let out that she had fucked Ted. Like, boy,
oh my!
When a nigga couldn't do nothing but laugh. Like he laughed at the end of the episode. That's one of the most chilling scenes in any drama. That right there, bro.
Yeah.
I ain't watched Breaking Bad in some years, man, and I still remember.
You forget
that's how the episode ended. You won't forget it. That's like not forgetting the end of Blue Comet. Like, you know what I mean? Just certain things that just.
I'm about to say,
I'll never forget that.
Like really, to me, I correlate that bringing it back to Sopranos to the end of Cold Cuts. When Tony he got off what he got off on Janice, and then and you know that smile, and he walks off, and then they play the music.
Walk out of the house.
Yeah, that's like I think that's like right there with it, bro. Y'all gonna make me go back and watch Breaking Bad out here. That's crazy.
Are we talking about
that's gonna be one of the worst rewatches you ever do? And the only reason that I say that it's still a great show, but it's just when you watch Breaking Bad for the first time, you have the perspective of looking at Walt as not the bad guy.
Okay.
Once you get to the end of it and you see that he is the fucking bad guy, and you watching it the whole thing, looking at it like, okay, now I know this nigga the bad guy. And all the bullshit that he pulled off, Walter White right there, he right there with McNulty for me. He the only person that rivals McNulty for me.
Let me ask y'all this on air. Well, go ahead, Rich. I don't want you to forget what you was about to say.
No, I was just gonna say terrible human being.
Okay. I want to have a conversation. We see it all the time, but the Walter White and Tony Soprano conversation. That's not at this episode, but when we start getting into our original Soprano content, I want to have that conversation of what makes one more likable than the other.
That's gonna be a good episode.
And what's, so that's going to be something
30 to 45-minute conversation. For
absolutely.
People will fuck with.
Just drop you right in like that. You know what I mean?
Jesus. I like that.
Yeah, man.
I'll be waiting for that.
I'll be excited about that one. Are we talking about the Ralph and John, or
go ahead.
As far as the funeral scene?
Yep.
This got to be one of the worst feelings in the world, right?
Yeah.
Like somebody out of the blue just treating you like shit, and you have no idea why it's happening. Like, you might have said some shit, but Ralph is probably thinking to himself, "There's no way he knows."
Ain't no way that anybody told him that. And to John's point, Ralph done made so many of these jokes, it probably is not even registering to him what he's mad about. Like, I've been doing this shit for years. We all made fun of Jenny Sack, so that's impossible.
Yeah,
that it's the thing about the mole, because we've been doing this for years, and that's why this is so brilliant, and that adds to why Johnny is so mad. Like, this is the first one I've heard, but I know you motherfuckers. I know when I've walked in and y'all ain't been watching the news and y'all laughing and shit, y'all talking about my fucking wife. This shit is great.
It is. This is definitely, I feel like, the beginning of the New York versus New Jersey. It all started with that.
Yeah, it did. It did start with the 95-pound mold joke.
The weight, man. The weight.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, I would say that. Yeah.
And this scene is important just because now we know for sure it's not a one-off, at the dinner scene, and Tony and Sil are starting to get concerned now. Like, yo, what's going on? Like, he's deliberately said, keep him away from me. It's also interesting that we get it in later episodes, but I would always have thought that Johnny would have taken care of that right then and there. You know what I mean?
I feel like his kind of hands were tied though, because we've talked about on here how much Ralph earns for not only his family but other John, for example. So I feel like that's one of the main causes of Johnny Sack frustration. It's like I know I really can't even do nothing. One, I ain't even supposed to know because I know Paulie running this fucking mouth too much. Like this is the benefit of being as smart as Johnny Sack is, because I have this information, but as soon as I release this information, I give up my position. Like now I ain't got Paulie no more. Now I gotta the most frustrating part of this is I gotta keep this shit in.
Yeah.
And I know you a piece of shit and everything that I did worked, but I can't let nobody know. This is great.
That's tough. That's tough. I cannot lose my leverage.
I can't lose the leverage. Like, so even though that pissed me off, and it goes to what we were talking about this thing of ours, even though you're talking about my wife and that pissed me off, there's still stuff that's more important than that in this world. And that's what pisses me off. That's what makes me mad if I'm Johnny Sack, because I know I want to defend her honor, but it's a bigger thing at play here. Fire.
That's fire, man. That's like a real time discovery right there.
Yeah,
it's fire,
motherfucker. And it shows out on the screen. Like Johnny looking at him like, motherfucker, like
I can't stand you.
Like you don't even know what I know and what I do to you if I could just do it to you, but I can't just do it to you like that.
Yeah.
So now I'm even more mad that I can't even just like do you in like that. Like I want to, because I was too smart. That's fire.
And it's just, still it's like a Ralph Cifaretto type dude. As soon as you walk in, your mood drop. Like you enjoying yourself at the party with your boys, hanging out, whatever. And then that person walk in, you like,
no, it's like if you're talking to a girl and just so happened that some other nigga that you know, maybe not even your friend. This happened to me. Maybe not even your friend, but just some nigga that you know, a friend of a friend. And both of y'all may be talking to the girl. And she may have a little bit more trust in you than him. She's like, oh, such and such said this about you. And you're like, what? He said, what?
Yeah.
How dare that nigga?
Really?
Like, how dare that nigga bring that shit up about me?
Yeah.
I got to fight on Christmas Eve because of some shit like that.
I still got beef. Well, not even beef. I still got. I was just laughing with one of my homeboys about a nigga that did that shit to me to this day. Hated on the chick, and she came right back and told me, I was like, this little motherfucker. And he was pulling the Ralph Cifaretto too.
Oh,
Lou, what's up, man? Blah, blah, blah.
Bruh,
nigga, she done told me everything you said, bitch ass nigga. Shut up.
Man. Nah, man. I don't know. This is getting too weird, man. This is getting too weird because that's exactly how that shit went down with me.
I swear to God. I was just laughing with my homeboy the other day. He was like, you hate that nigga. I was like, I don't even hate him, bro. It's just like the fact of how that shit played out. And it was over 15, 20 years ago now, but it's just like, it's hilarious.
It's stuck
down to the, oh, what's up? That's what pissed me off the most. If you would have had that energy, I wouldn't be mad.
Act like you know that I know. Like, you know what I mean?
Like when you was talking to her. That same shit that you was saying to her, like, come to me and say that, please. Give me the reason.
Because it was like, and we're not going to get off the episode too much, man, but I just got finished seeing him. He was on that. Then I seen old girl. And she's the one that told me. And I looked at my boy that was with me like, we just got finished talking to dude. There's no way he just said that.
Yeah,
it was exactly
same
like
thing.
That. I was like, there was no way. There's no way.
I will tell you, Mo.
Go ahead.
For people that listen to Another Week in the Books too, if I can get J-Hove on there, Mo, we can get more into the story without using names. But J-Hove is the key to a lot of those good stories.
Man.
Hey, matter of fact, he can do that, and I'll bring the dude that was with me. Is the same dude I told you that's been extras in movies, and I know we're gonna do something like that.
There it is.
Moment, I'm about to tell that story what happened, man.
Them two good Another Week in the Book stories, man. If y'all fans of this show, if y'all know the other social stuff, social commentary that we do, man, check out Another Week in the Books, man. But go back to it, Mo. What you got you off to?
Yeah. Speaking of getting back to it, Ralph pulls up on Ro, and oh man, I hate to say this, but I've been here. Ro is in the dumps.
Another what the fuck is the name of the show? I can't even think of it now.
What?
Seinfeld. Another Seinfeld show. It's not me. It's you.
It's you.
Excuse me. It's not you. It's me.
Yeah.
It's not you. It's me. George Costanza.
George Costanza,
boy. He's a wild boy.
Legend.
But this is
legend.
still doing it in this
This
moment
is-
in time.
But look. So Ralph breaks up with Rose. She's in the dumps, and she pretty much says, I meet all your needs, your sexual needs, this, that, blah, blah, yada, yada. And she's like, but if you want to leave, then leave. You want to be out? And he's like, yeah. And he said, what do I get out of it? Like, what do I get out of the deal? Which is really crazy. But what's so interesting is like, bro, like creating like a window to break up. Like people don't understand like how essential that is. Like you want to get out of there, and it's already on the like down. You gotta punch because I had a moment like that before where it's like it's down in the dumps. This is the window. Like you still trying to be a good dude, but you wanna get out. You know what I mean? You try to do your own thing, and it's like y'all already at odds, and you've been trying to figure out an angle to get out.
Because a woman will say,
it's like, what, you don't want to do this no more?
Really
yeah, I'm like, you know what? I think we should just.
You know,
but man, bro, this was hilarious, but it was real to me.
It's crazy how niggas' logic work because they like, you might as well do it now. I don't want you to get your feelings back up and then I crush you again. So
yeah.
while you already down,
not
let
really
me drop this on you too.
Anyway,
that is crazy. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? That's wild. Like,
It
that's
is.
Exactly
It's
what
very
I'm
insensitive.
We sick.
We are sick.
Men,
it's sick.
we sick.
It's nasty. It's nasty to watch on screen, bro.
It is, man.
I
mean,
because we've all been there. We've all been there.
Let me flip the script real quick, just on Rose.
Stronger than that. Gotta be stronger than that.
Stronger than that. That's a rich. I need that. I need that on the shirt. Rich.
I need that on the shirt.
Yeah,
Coach your garden.
Like
you
just,
gotta be
stronger than that. Than just a little small rich. Like for the quote there, you gotta be stronger than that.
That's the Rick's book coming out. You got to be stronger than that.
I tell you, bro, my boy that was with me when I said it, man. He sent that text, man. He said that's my favorite Rich quote.
Yeah, that's a great quote, bro.
Man.
That's a great quote.
That's absolutely.
To put some stuff back on, put it back on Rose. I do feel bad for Ro here. She does bounce back later in the series, but I do feel bad for her. Like she's lost her brother-in-law, she's lost her husband, she's lost her son. Her daughter doesn't live there. It is. I really felt bad for Ro. Things just keep happening so negative. Lost her friend.
Carmela.
She does got Carmela, but it's up over there. Like that's my homie, that's my friend, but everything's up over there for her. At least that's how it looked, and everything is down over here. So it's rough. It's really rough for me, So
you could easily see her getting into some depression type shit.
Yeah, man.
Which I'm glad they didn't show us, man. I would have been out.
I know you would have been out. Nothing with feelings with this guy. You definitely Jerry Seinfeld over here.
See none of that shit.
No crying, no tears, no hugs.
Tears? Get that shit away from me.
Bro, that's crazy. I'm allergic to tears.
Like Tony with Ralph's shoes, like
bro, like tears, like
this shit. What is this shit?
Hey, you stupid.
Straight up.
What's this?
Anything else y'all want to add to that scene before we go to the next one?
Ro went off on that nigga, man.
And she did. It was black woman-ish. It was kind of black woman.
I knew you was gonna do
deep.
that, man.
This was deep in
just a little bit of.
I knew you was gonna do that, Bo. I knew you was gonna do that, man.
Okay, am I wrong or I'm wrong in that?
They gonna get at you, man. I'm telling you.
I wasn't gonna go there, but since you went there, I'll let you have it.
I mean,
I'm trying to save you because I see the future.
You see the future.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I see it every time, man.
So her snapping and getting back and getting at him like that because he was out of pocket. I'm wrong for saying that's definitely feel black womanish.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right. What I'm saying is you're gonna hear.
I'm not gonna single out. I'm not gonna single out our sisters and say they the only one. Act like
I didn't say they was the only one.
Clear an example. This is a clear. Don't make them the example for it though.
Okay, here.
Ro is an Italian American woman, and she's letting you know that other women do that too.
Okay, let me make it clear since it's like in passing I'm always misunderstood. So let me make it clear. I'm a black man. I grew up mostly around black people. I've lived in neighborhoods.
You're not going down the right route, Ro.
Look at you. Look at him.
Either leave it alone. Don't go down this road.
No, I'm not. No.
My
experience is mostly with black people. So my reference point is always going to be black. I can't talk about what I don't know. I don't know much about other ethnicities and races. I only know mine. So when I'm talking about Ro and her doing that, I'm not saying, only black women doing that.
It reminds you of people that you know.
Yes.
That's what you should say.
No,
It reminds me
no,
of
I'm not
people
gonna
that
do
I
that.
know.
Nah, lean into it.
Don't blanket it and say it with no, please.
Nah,
Don't.
bro, lean into it.
Don't
No,
lean into why?
nah.
Why would you
Why
do
not?
that?
Where is it wrong to say this is
Because
my
it's
experience?
it's
All right.
disrespectful to black women. It's disrespectful to black women in the sense of you're saying that they set the standard for this type of behavior.
No, it's
When
not what I'm saying.
well, it sounds like that's what you're saying. I'm not saying that that's
That's
what
how
you're
it's
saying.
gonna come off. That's why I said. That's why I said
I
before
just
you
want you
got
to
started.
understand. Yeah, I just want you to understand, like not being you and hearing it from the outside. A black woman may misinterpret that and think that you're saying black women set the standard for this and all other women are acting like that.
Yeah.
This is just something that happens amongst women.
Mm-hmm.
They don't specify it and say black women because they're clearly giving us an example that this happens in every race.
Yeah,
Or
but
It's not. It's not your character. It's not your character at all. We know better than that.
I ain't tripping.
Most people that listen.
I'm married to a black woman. I have a black daughter, so I don't never.
Right, no.
I got black friends. I'm not.
Right.
I mean, I voted for Obama.
I never forget. It's just funny because you just know, and that's what we're conditioned to now in today's day and time. You're conditioned to know when I hear certain things. It's not that I know that the reaction to this is going to be a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget when Drea said, I forget, I don't know that chick name, Andrea, the one video chick. When she said something about Meg and being shot, and she it was kind of attractive. Yeah. She was on that Wine and Weed podcast, and Van Lathan was on there too, and he said, "You're about to go viral." That's exactly what he said. You're about to go viral. He didn't make a comment about her perspective. He just knew that comment is going to rile people up. And I'm sure when black women hear that term, they're gonna rile. It's no different than men when they say black people are thugs, and the same shit we joke about, laugh about in the Sopranos. That Tony say about damn, we more than that. Like just last week, Mo, you were just saying, all right, man, that's enough. Like that's how they're gonna view it, and it's just one of those things where as soon as you said it, I'm like, oh, here it goes.
I just say follow me through the whole series. Like if I'm keeping that energy every episode, I'm doing that. Then tag and challenge me on it. But if y'all listen through line to all of our own storylines in Good Earners of reviewing this, then you're tracking like, oh, okay, this is where his heart is. So it's like, I understand giving context and explaining, but I'm a person like I've always overly explained, so I find myself not explaining as much no more. I just like either you know or you don't know. Like if you know me, you understand. If you got questions, ask me. If not, I don't. I just don't explain like I used to. I used to over explain everything. I don't do that no more. So I know what y'all saying, and I get that. And shouts out to the black women. Shouts out to y'all. But
my response is more of another week in the books conversation versus a Good Earner. So I'm gonna let us keep rolling.
Okay.
I definitely need to revisit that though. I love to hear that.
Yeah, we definitely gotta come back to it. Make
sure.
sure that we put that in the notes 1 week for this.
We get Tony, Hesh, and we meet an essential character in the Soprano lore, Pyomai. And pretty much we get this back and forth. Now we've brought the Spanish gentleman. Is that safe to say? Spanish American from Spain of the
Mo hilarious, bro.
Like, bro, I don't know. Like this gentleman, he I don't know.
Hey, you know what's funny, Mo? Hey,
What?
You know what's real funny?
What?
When you listen to the Culture Garden episode that drops tomorrow, whenever you listen to it, I had a moment like this in the episode.
Oh yeah.
Like, man, I don't know if this is fucked up or not. I started doing something.
You know me. I'm in my own. I'm in
about
my
rap
own
shit.
No. This is Culture Garden.
Garden.
This is Culture Garden episode.
Okay, got it.
You know, I be in my own, like, you know, that's, but, I mean, again, it's just, again, I don't really want to react. So I'm about to go through some of these things and I'll jump in and out because I just don't care about this at this point. We bring Hesh in, nobody cares about what he has to say. Like we get kind of the Jewish perspective and we get like the Spanish perspective here as well, and tying it all back into this big old racial thing about Columbus Day. Yeah, is there anything I want to add to this stable scene?
I mean, it depends on how deep you want to. Like there's a lot here, and I agree with you, Mo, in the sense of some of it you can just leave alone because you don't want to come off as anti-Semitic or just be judged on how you view this scene and people taking a larger viewpoint from it. What I will say I like this scene. This is one of my favorite scenes in The Sopranos because this is when Hesh always comes. It's like, oh, I know everything. I got all it figured out. And when somebody was challenging him, he's like, oh, now you want to fight. Like now you're a tough guy. Now you want to take it where like Tony and you look down on them as you look down on them and think that you're better than them because you don't go to those resorts. But as soon as someone challenges your perspective, you do the same thing. That's what I will say. I think both of them had good points. I think Hesh was overly sensitive in this situation, but that's just like me saying, or someone saying a black guy being called a nigga or a colored person, as we talked to earlier, saying that they were overly sensitive as far as how someone labeled them. So it's a deep scene. It's a really deep scene, but there's way too much repercussion that would come from this scene if we say the wrong things than I would like. So we can continue to move to the next scenes, is what I'll say.
What say you, Rich? Anything?
Nah, very well said. From the Sopranos world perspective, and that's once again to Spike's point. That's another reason why it's such a power. It has the potential to be such a powerful scene that if you don't use it, like use it for the real conversation. But in the world of Sopranos, shows you a couple things. A, Tony's reaching out for favors because Sil asked for the leadership. They said that we need your leadership on this. So we kind of get into that. And then also expanding upon what I said earlier, just everybody has different perspectives on their heritage. And they're just showing different lights. Who's comparison? Dave Chappelle once made a joke about getting in comparisons with people about who was oppressed the more. And that's kind of what we see here in this scene. And just kind of like, all right, man, everybody, they're just driving the point home. They're just driving it home once again. But it had the potential, they just fumbled.
Yeah.
And of course, Kyle Ma, man, that's a real important
thing. Yeah, that's definitely
the most important thing about this.
From the Sopranos perspective, that's the most important.
Yeah, and that's what we do in this podcast. Too, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and it's Ralph's horse, so that's a part of it as well. But we go to Bobby's house. Junior calls to see if Bobby will be picking him up tomorrow for court, and Carmela just clues me in like, bro, you definitely need to go ahead and get that fixed or whatever. Get somebody else to pick you up, basically. And that's kind of it for me as far as that the women start stepping up and going into rotation about who's going to look out for Bobby in the meals and everything. This must be like kind of a cultural thing or whatnot. So I think one thing I would say just to
she was doing a little too much right here.
She was.
Carmela was doing a little bit. Yeah, like you're doing too much. You're letting your feelings for me as Carmela Soprano and what you think that I tried to do to Tony and being Junior Soprano, like there's no place for you to be like, oh, well, let him figure it out. This is above your pay grade. And I really wish that someone was there to be able to tell her that wasn't grieving like Bobby, that wasn't in a state that we see Junior in. I really did not like how Carmela handled this.
I mean, it wasn't her place, but
she wasn't wrong, right?
Yeah, I about to say she wasn't wrong.
I don't think that she was wrong. However, there is this overarching hierarchy of it's my business and it's family business. This shit got something totally different to do than what you're mad about. I get it. Put somebody else on the phone who I can get through to. You mad at me. It's cool. I get that. We ain't got to be the best of friends. But I have another conversation that needs to be had about another type of business. Like this ain't got nothing to do with the grieving or your family. Like, this doesn't have anything to do with that. This has to do with the overarching business that looms over everything that we do. Don't hang up in my face like that. This really bothered me in the sense of, and doing a cross reference again, like this was a Skylar White type move. Like, bitch, don't hang up in my face. I'm trying to figure this shit out. Like I have to go to federal court tomorrow and fight for my life. And I'm just trying to figure out how I get there, because this is the way we do things all the time. Yeah, I get that someone died. I get that there's bigger things at play right now. However, you don't have the authority to hang up in my face, bro. That would have pissed me all the way off.
That's interesting. I agree. This is one of those weird moments where you have to take yourself in the way you think and the way you handle situations. Because I think it's fair to say all three of us, if we had an arrangement like this, and somebody, dealt with a tragedy, we would all say, hey, take as much time as you need.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Love and support, praying for you. I'll figure everything else out until you bounce back. That's how we would handle it. But in the world, like Spike just said, I'm Junior Soprano.
Say this ain't a podcast though. It's like like
I'm in the feds. Like I'm literally in court fighting for my life. Like I need to figure this shit out. I can't not go to court. You know what I mean? I can't not.
And
go
I
to my
can't
trial.
drive. Yeah, like this is real. And ain't no
reasoning,
Ubers, bro. Like I can't wait till 9 o'clock tomorrow to figure this shit out.
Yeah, his reasoning, Murph goes to bed early. I really need to figure this out. If he's not this, because Junior wasn't even saying I need him. He said, I just need to know if he is or not.
I just need to know where he at. I just need to know what he got going on, bro.
Maybe he just needs to stay busy. I don't know. I just wanted to double check. So
I respect Junior's position right here more so than Carmela's. It's like Carmela is speaking from an emotional standpoint, like how could you during this time? But Junior speaking from a business standpoint, which overarches all. Like, bro, like I get it. We got our little personal thing, but I need to get this figured out.
It kind of is a call back to Tony's quote earlier. We're running a business here. But I guess the perfect way to wrap it up is from a Sopranos perspective, I completely understand Junior. From a human being perspective, I understand Carmela.
Yeah, that's a good point. Great.
And Bobby just got promoted too, by the way.
Yeah, and you my number 2 now.
Yeah, right.
You're the person that I depend on for this stuff. First of all, like, I really don't even want Carmela answering your phone when I'm trying to get in touch with you, bro. If I'm being 100% honest with you.
Right. But yeah.
There's people like that, man.
People
ain't like that in the world. Like, look, the shit keep moving.
Yeah, like, bro.
I'm sorry for your loss, bro, but we got shit to do. There's people like that.
No, it is. I mean, and
this shit bigger than Nino Brown, bro.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
that
my
part.
nigga.
That part. I think Spike done turned into Rich today. He got all the references.
Hey, man.
He got all the he got the references bag on lock right now.
It's still reference rich. It's still reference
rich, yeah, for sure.
Reference rich, yeah, exactly.
Why she gonna come back next week with a bunch of references on your head top?
They just naturally flow, man.
Yeah, man.
All right,
I'm trying to move this thing a little bit along. Ralph and Janice. Ralph is excited that he's yelling in the street, Stella. He's excited that it's clear, and he broke it off with Ro, and it's clear that Janice is kind of taking in what her therapist had said to her. But it seems that he starts to kind of put the moves on her a little bit, kiss her here, kiss her there, and she kind of goes for it at that moment. And that's kind of it at that moment. Then she goes back to the dirty talk again. But it's sick, like him going at her like how he does. His posture it's something. He has a definitely an interesting posture, being the aggressor, and then kind of, anyways. Anything y'all want to add to that scene, bro?
You crazy, bro. That's insane.
It's just an interesting way you go from aggressor to
is nuts.
Well, I'm
bent over.
No, not that. I'm alluding to. You're like, yo, there's a lot of steps. I mean, sheesh. I'm alluding to, like, you come in like this supposed to be like masculine.
Well, let me ask you this: since you went there. Do you think that that's part of the thing that turns her off about Ralph and makes her open her eyes more to other people? Because it was just like, oh, it's this weird sexual kink that he got, and I'm willing to do it better than Ro. However, there's someone out there that has a lot more to offer, and I see that because of what the therapist told me, and now I'm focused on that. You think that's what she was with it, or she was just like, I just really didn't want this to be that much, and he doing too much?
No, I think the first, what you said, like once the therapist brought it to her attention, I think she's having a, so to speak, post nut clarity. You know what I mean? Like this is what's happening in real time for her. It was like Like what she's about to do to Ralph. Thank you that they didn't shoot another scene, but like what she's about to do with Ralph again here, this is where I feel like internally going to be really disgusted. Looking like, what am I doing? Like this is crazy right here, you know. So and
no,
you know,
kink shaming on good earners, man.
Oh my gosh, look at these guys. Look how they do you, man.
Man, however people get off, y'all free to get off in the
Hey
way,
man, for
Long as it
$3,000,
involves
I'll
us.
tell you some things.
Whoa, oh.
It's a relax. It's a reference to Janice. It's a reference to Janice when she talks to Tony later in the series.
Yeah, no, I get it.
What type of animal?
That shit
Right.
that shit was wild, man.
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that everybody's been in a position, Janice. Whoa, that sounds crazy too. Everybody
been in a position.
Everybody could understand the mindset that she has when you know when you know it's time to detach from something that's holding you back. But you still.
This all sounds bad, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Detach. All of this is bad.
Let's go next scene. Man. Next scene. Man.
All right. I'm sorry, bro. Nothing is. All right. We go. My bad, bro. Not to step on your point, but it just everything was kind of.
Nah, you was right, man.
Tony.
Shit was getting worse.
Yeah, Tony.
That's like a black woman take.
Look at him. Look, see how he did. This guy's good, boy. That boy good.
That was
boy. He been doing this. Been in this thing for a while. That's what that was. That was crazy. Like he hit me with the reverse.
That was great, man.
Yeah, that's the reverse finish.
Tune into another week in the book so we can address that. What Rich said.
Yeah, tune in.
Couple of weeks.
We'll get a little bit more into
sometime after the holidays. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm trying to move this thing along. The show, Tony, Seal, and Marty, they're having a conversation about this whole thing again and the casino bill, and then they're introduced to this guy named Doug. And Doug finds out that he says he has a small percentage of, basically indigenous. Is that the fair way to say indigenous blood or Indian blood?
I think they use Native American.
Native American. So he has some Native American roots.
Indigenous, bro. Yeah,
Okay, in him, and Tony makes a joke. It's like, how convenient, you just found that out. And I just thought it was funny because black people, let me be more specific. The black people I've been around, it was always a thing where we say, oh, you got Indian in them. Like, we've always said that because of hair and things of that nature. So I just thought it was a funny thing, like, oh, how convenient all of a sudden now you have that in you or whatnot. So, but I don't really have nothing else to add to this scene, pretty much.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
We go to Satrial's. Well, before we go to Satrial's, I'm sorry, Janice and Bobby. Janice goes over there, find out that they've been neighbors this whole time, and he's having a moment. She didn't cook the food, but she brings over KFC. Bobby's crying. Again, Steve Sharippa ripping it right here, killing it. And this is where Janice really was moved by it. We go to Satrial's. Gets the phone call. Doug couldn't sell it basically, but he told him, y'all can come out to my casino anytime. The boys go to the casino, and I'll stop right there, and then we'll pick up the last three scenes. Anything y'all get from those sequences between Janice and Bobby, the Satrial's phone call, or?
Real quick, as I mentioned earlier, Tony to sit down at Silvio's.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's trying to this is all Seal's thing. It's just important to keep mentioning this is Seal thing. I'm sitting down. I could be doing something else with this time, but I'm meeting with this dude for that. Going to the phone call, like he didn't give a fuck about hitting up Red Clay. He probably didn't even press the issue.
Mm-hmm.
He called him, asked him, oh, you can't do it? All right, cool. I'm gonna call. He rolling dice when he giving the call, man. Sorry, man, you can't do it. But matter of fact, I got something for you. Fully comp weekend, whoever you want to bring. This is my way of making it up to you. Knowing that he had to play, man. He was smart, man. He genius.
Oh yeah, he was good.
He know how to play the game.
Yeah.
So it's just Tony. It's just like I said. We in the last 20 minutes, we just see the snowball of Tony getting wrapped up in somebody else's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also that good representation of I can't not try to look out for my people.
Yeah.
I'm saying I owe this, but I don't really give a fuck about it. And there's a lot of people who feel that way.
And lastly, I'm just gonna put tie these all together. Pretty much, like I said, the boys. There's a therapy scene with Janice. Basically, the therapist says that you're worthy, and you should go after Bobby, so to speak. And so she goes out. So we get the Melfi scene where they see the news. Janice breaks up with Ralph. He tells him to get out. Broke up with him because of his shoes. And Tony, and this is the scene we'll probably talk about. Tony and Silvio have the conversation, and pretty much it turns into a whole nother play from going to the casino, and Tony knew what was up, and he goes off on Sil. What did y'all want to say about that scene? Because I know that was probably like maybe even arguably the best scene of the episode.
Oh, it definitely was. For one, real quick, I love the imagery of Ralph coming in with his bag, bringing his baggage.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Literally bringing his baggage to Janice's crib and that look on her face like, I can't do this no more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm got to shred to be the best version of myself. I need to shed myself
I'm getting
of
rid of all this shit.
Yeah, and I just learned. I think we knew that they were neighbors because remember, I was around at Bacala's, wanted to check in. How is he fat?
Yep.
So I think that I love the imagery of that. Like I said, when it comes to the actuals, and Tony said a wild joke.
Oh man, that was wild.
But I love the scene with Sil and Tony, man. I love
the last scene in the car with all of them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, I love that, man.
You think this stay in the country was free, don't you?
Exactly, and because Tony he's taking the high road for me. He's not even mentioning it. He's agitated. He's irritated. You can see that visibly. Quiet car ride and all that shit. But I'm really trying to be cool, but you keep pressing the issue. And now, like, I got to go off on you because your bullshit. And you don't even care like this. You're talking about I should have been there. You out in the country spending money because that's who you are. That's what you really care about. Stop using this shit to be convenient. Like, oh, I'm Italian American today, but I'm this. No, nigga, you don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Mm-hmm. You just hate the fact that it's like I always say, man, when kids have a toy, another kid come over and want to play with the toy, they don't care about that toy. They probably ain't played with it in years or months. But now that somebody else got it, I got to step up and say, nah, that's mine. It's a possession thing. Like I got to gatekeep my heritage because we getting discriminated against. And I really believe this bullshit. And Tony's just like, man, fuck that. You because you. Not because of your last name, not because of where your parents from. Get rid of all this bullshit, bro. We are fucking criminals. Get off your fucking high horse, my nigga.
Facts, man.
And the fact that all this is happening, bro, it's costing me time and money. I'm already pissed off that somebody's leaked talking. Now we got to call in a fucking favor. And you calling in a favor, man. Get the fuck out of here. You got me on some bullshit. And just the way it all built up. And Tony was like, man, and nobody else understood what he was saying. He brought up Gary Cooper again.
Chris talking about what the fuck happened to Gary Cooper? Like, what the fuck happened to him in the sense of, bro, we realized who we were and what our objective was. In some kind of way, y'all niggas thought because y'all had this power, because we're in these positions, that you could leverage it more so than you can. Me as the boss in this car, I'm telling y'all niggas, y'all don't have the ability to leverage this power this way. I felt like this scene was amazing in the sense of there was not like there wasn't any facial close-ups to Tony. There wasn't a lot of things that made us understand that why he blew up at the end like he did, but there also were subtle clues as to, like, bro, even like I said, going back to Carmela coming down the steps and him seeing that shit on the TV screen, him having to call the councilman on the phone and ask these favors of niggas who was like, oh, well, yeah, man, I've been donating to the Italian whatever commission for it. Bro, none of this shit matters in the grand scheme of what we do. And y'all niggas have gotten it confused and thinking that y'all are activists versus criminals. This scene was amazing in that sense of him letting them know, like, bro, like, let's not get it confused on what our objective here is.
It's fake passionate, bro. Stop with the fake.
Yeah, like, bro,
stop with the fake passionate, bro.
Stop
You care zero.
Stop all that black power shit. You married to a white woman, dude. I don't want to hear that shit.
What was that? What was that, Spike? You say that loud for the people in the back, though. All right.
that's it.
Well, another week, boy. You talk about promo, boy. We didn't promo another week in the books. Crazy on this episode.
But you know what? But you know what? That's
What?
this
It's
episode.
the episode for it.
It's
It
for
is
that.
the episode 4. You're
It's
right.
the episode
Y'all
for
right.
it. It makes the
Y'all
most sense that because we didn't walk
man.
into this planning to make all these references.
Yeah.
But when you look at this episode and we talk
Makes
about it
sense.
being a one-off, they intentionally dug into this conversation.
Yep. And we further those conversations on another week in the books.
That's it. But before we get at the end of our show of good earners, we can't leave without our ranking system. So first and foremost, Spike Lou, how do you rank this episode?
This episode is just another envelope. It doesn't progress the story in any way. There was nothing that happened really other than Bobby's wife dying that progresses the timeline and what we see for the rest of this season. So I would say it's just another envelope.
Rich.
Just another envelope, for sure. For sure.
Same. It's just easy. Just another envelope. Are we 3 episodes in of just another envelope?
Nah, I was made last week.
Oh, you were made last week.
Yeah,
You got the sheet right there, Mo?
Yeah, I do. I'm 3 episodes in, just another envelope,
man.
bro.
Do I have me too?
You are.
Episode 1, you had a good.
Nah, you said last episode. You said that was a good earner.
Okay.
I'm 3 episodes in, just another envelope, bro. That's not a good sign. I remember season 4 differently.
Well, I guarantee you that's going to
strong finish though. Strong finish.
I guarantee you next episode. I guarantee you
coming up.
It will not be just another envelope.
I know that won't. I
guarantee the next episode.
Your streak
I'm gonna watch that tonight.
4.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch that tonight.
As soon as we end, I'm watching that.
I might watch.
As soon as we end, I'm watching that.
Okay. Spike Lou, who gets the good earner chain for this episode, man?
You know what? I'm going with Seal's wife.
Oh, Gab. Okay.
Not only in the sense of she was defending Carmela, but she was defending her own honor. Like, how dare you, as the sleazy priest who I know because I fuck with Carmela, try to sleep with her, bring this lady in here to talk down on us, the people who provide your parish with the most money. How dare you? And her taking that stance, going into his office, making the speech, I like that. She's standing on business, as the kids say.
Okay. Rich, who gets a good earning chain from you?
Del Red Clay.
All right.
That's a good
earning chain, man. It was really between him and what's my man's name?
Doug.
That set up everything, Doug.
Yeah.
But Doug just he had a sweet lick. But Del Red Clay for real, because he was actually standing up for some serious shit, some oppression, and everything that he wanted to get done was done. They tried to strong arm him. He didn't care nothing about that. Seal ended up losing at the end of the day. There was nothing they could get accomplished. So his resolve, the fact that he stood up for what he wanted to stand up for, got to give that to him, because we don't really see the Sopranos lose.
Yeah.
We don't see them lose too often or not get their way.
No, you're right. And I seized your $1 and raised you 2. I'm going the indigenous people.
Okay.
They look like the mob out there. They was handling business out there on them streets. They hung out the Christopher Columbus piñata, and they was getting to it.
Business.
So the indigenous people, I give them the good earning chain for this episode. Spike, who gets the Broken Balls award?
The Broken Balls Awards goes to Ro, man. Ro put up with all that bullshit from Ralph. All the things that she thought she had a good stand-up guy in her corner, and he's just a piece of shit, man. I'm going
Ro for real. All right, Rich, who gets the Broken Balls from you?
Bobby. Bobby gets the Broken Balls from me.
That's a good one. Pick. That's a good one.
Man. It's just it's heartbreaking, man. It's really, we have seen a lot of deaths recently in Sopranos, but this is one of those that makes you have an emotional tug. Like, I genuinely feel bad for Bobby. Like, Bobby's a real person. You know what I mean? You see how much he loves her. You know the weight that he deals with. The weight. You know what he's dealing with in regards to
the weight.
Their last conversation. the last conversation, him driving past the accident, and all that stuff, man. So that's just rough, man. And we're just, he's just now coming into his own in this world. So to have something like that, like you said earlier, and losing his dad on top of it, just a tough blow for Bob.
Absolutely. On the flip side, of the other side of the coin, I'm going with the mob rioters. Georgie got worked by the police. Little Paulie got
You're
hit with
agent of chaos, Mo. You're agent of chaos.
Oh my gosh. Hey, anyways, but and then Artie getting hit with a slushy. Patsy getting slapped by Tony later on. Who's like all of them, like they definitely get the mob riders is the broken balls will be. And lastly, Spike Lou, what's your favorite moment of this episode?
Oh, ooh, man. Damn. I guess it was the scene with Janice realizing that Bobby was her mark. It wasn't Ralph, wasn't Richie. She was taking the wrong approach. If she wanted to make her mark in this mafia game and not be a disturbance to her husband, Bobby Bacalor is the guy. Her getting eyes for him and realizing that that's the road that she needs to go on, I think was my favorite in the sense of knowing how the rest of the series plays.
Okay. That's a good pick. Rich.
Final scene for me. Man. Tony in the car just going off on Sil. I'm kind of putting him in this place, letting you know what time it is. Like, get off, like I said, get off your high horse. Just self-righteous shit. You don't care about none of it. And now you got me in it. Now you drag me into your bullshit. Now he wants to call. We didn't even mention the fact that who was it he wanted? Who was the singer that he wanted to do the residency for a week? Actor in real life.
Wait, who? Who is this?
The whole reason that Tony was mad.
The dude
ended up being in the Sopranos. Yeah. He ended up being in the Sopranos. Hold on, man. My bad. This is
no, you good. No, it's good. No, you good.
I just
Frankie Valli. Frankie Valli, man.
Frankie.
He played in Grease. He's in Sopranos. And he in real life had always whispers about him being friends with New Jersey Mob. So the fact that they actually put him, like, use him as a reference, then him later on being in the show, I thought that was funny. But the fact that Tony was like, man, I gotta call somebody, and Sil like, I ain't talking to you, I don't give a fuck.
You finna talk to him.
And just the way the episode ended, man, just the way Sil had his one last speech, and he was like, we got to tiptoe around this and that, which is something people feel, especially in today's day and age when we've seen teams that we've grown up with, mascots be removed because of them being offensive. And still bringing that up, and Tony just ending it with the great line like, well, you take that up with Frankie when you call him. I don't give a fuck. End this conversation.
That shit ain't got nothing to do with me, nigga.
All of that was beautiful. I love Turned Up Tony.
That's below my pay grade.
Yeah, me too.
We need to put that on the shirt right there. Put that on some merch.
Turned Up Tony. Yeah, that's definitely a good earner.
Facts.
Yeah, put that somewhere, bro. Mine's lastly, Tony slapping Patsy. Like, because Patsy, we've never been established that Tony and Patsy, we're not that far off from, like, I put the grief behind me. All of the, like, you're slapping me is like, I've never known you to get physical with me. He got the right to, but it's so weird that it's like, we ain't even like tight like that, bro. You slapping Chris or slapping Paulie, I can see that. You slapping Patsy, like, it's crazy. But yeah, so that's definitely my favorite scene. But this is another episode of Good Earners. We thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. As we've talked about all episode, we got other podcasts that we do, and I will have those in the description. Go subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Go watch us on YouTube. Y'all want to see the visuals, subscribe there. Leave your comments, rate, review, all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. And remember, don't forget about it.